Sometimes it starts with something so small you don't even notice it. An eyelid twitching while you're reading, a warm pulse around your belly button in the middle of the night, or that odd itch in your palm that has no reason at all. You move on. You tell yourself it's nothing. But what if it's not? For centuries, people have quietly observed their own bodies, not with fear, but with wonder. Before technology and lab tests, they watched the shifts in their skin, the glow in their eyes, the warmth in their hands, and from those tiny things they sensed when change was coming. Not every twitch means a miracle. Not every flush of the cheeks means money is on its way. But sometimes, just sometimes, your body gives you a gentle nudge, a clue, a quiet heads-up that something is about to shift, and that shift might be for the better. In this video, I want to walk with you through 8 of those little signs, subtle but strangely consistent. These aren't magical promises or superstitions wrapped in mystery. They are patterns people have noticed in times of change. From ancient wisdom to everyday experience, the body has always found ways to whisper when luck, opportunity, or even wealth is approaching. No drama, no big declarations. Just simple signals, right there beneath your skin waiting to be noticed. So before you scroll past, pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, has your body been trying to tell you something lately? Because maybe, just maybe, you've already started walking into your next, more abundant chapter. You just haven't seen the signs yet. Sign 1. When your left eye twitches, pause for a moment. It always happens when you're least expecting it. You're doing something ordinary, reading the mail, watching the news, sipping coffee before the house wakes up, and suddenly the skin just under your left eye jumps. It twitches once, maybe twice. No pain, no reason, just a flicker gone in seconds. Most people brush it off. Tired eyes, they say. Too much screen time. But have you ever paused, just for a moment, and wondered why that eye, why now? Throughout history, people have paid close attention to the body, not just for signs of illness, but for signs of timing. In older generations, especially among those who lived close to nature, these tiny twitches weren't ignored, they were noted, tracked, remembered, because in more cases than you'd think, something always followed. A phone call, a shift in the energy around you. A door quietly opening. Let's be clear, we're not talking about superstition dressed up as truth. We're talking about patterns, lived experience. Real people noticing real things and sharing what they've seen over and over again. In many traditions, especially those rooted in personal observation and energy awareness, the left eye is considered the receiving eye, the one that takes in what the world is offering. When it twitches without warning, some say it's your body picking up subtle changes in your environment, opportunities, support, a turn in fortune that's quietly getting closer. Not because magic is in the air, but because your nervous system, your energy field, and your intuition are more connected than you think. Maybe you felt it before, that odd twitch followed by a surprising message. A friend reaching out after years, an unexpected check in the mail, a compliment from someone who usually never notices. Maybe it was just coincidence, or maybe your body was simply the first to know. You see, the left eye doesn't twitch for fun. It's connected to the side of the body that listens, that receives, that's attuned to shifts outside your control. That's why in older communities, especially among women who have raised families, worked hard, and carried emotional weight quietly for years, a twitch in the left eye wasn't seen as random. It was a cue. A moment to pause, not panic. Not obsess, just pause and notice. What's shifting? What's stirring in the background that you haven't looked at closely? This isn't about predicting lottery numbers or waiting for a miracle. It's much more grounded than that. It's about paying closer attention to what your body's been trying to say. A twitch is a whisper, not a shout. It's not demanding action. It's inviting awareness. And let's talk about the why. Why would your body react physically to an opportunity you haven't seen yet? The answer lies in energy. Every emotion, every thought, every shift in your life, even the ones you're not conscious of, creates a ripple in your body's energy field. Sometimes those ripples reach the surface. Sometimes they pulse through your eye, your skin, your heart rate. These aren't symptoms of something wrong. They're signs something's moving. Have you ever had a gut feeling before something happened? A moment where you just knew someone was about to call, or that something was off even if everything looked fine. That knowing often starts in the body, before the mind catches up. That's what this is. That's what a left eye twitch can be. There's also the emotional layer. The left eye is tied to emotional memory. When that eye twitches, it might not just be reacting to the present, but to the emotional weight you're carrying beneath the surface. Maybe something is shifting inside you, a release, a readiness to let go, or a quiet signal that you're finally open to receiving support, financial, emotional, or spiritual. Now, not every twitch is a message from the heavens. Of course not. But when the twitch comes with a feeling, like your chest suddenly softens, or your breathing changes, or something in you just pauses, pay attention. That moment might be more than a muscle spasm. It might be a doorway. One woman wrote to say she'd felt her left eye twitch for hours one morning. She didn't think much of it until that afternoon, when she received a call offering her a part-time remote job she hadn't even applied for. Another shared that her eye twitched right before she walked into her annual performance review. She thought it was stress. But the review brought unexpected praise and a raise. Again, coincidence? Maybe. But these stories repeat across cultures, across generations, across lives. And what if we're wrong? What if it is just fatigue or stress or too much caffeine? Then noticing it, slowing down for a second, still doesn't hurt. Because maybe the point isn't about what causes the twitch. Maybe it's about what the twitch helps you notice. Your pace, your breath, the way life might be shifting beneath your feet while you rush from one thing to the next. Your body doesn't need you to believe in omens or ancient wisdom. It just needs you to slow down enough to hear it. A left eye twitch could mean everything or nothing. But what it definitely is a moment, a flicker, an invitation to pause. And in this world, moments like that are rare. So the next time your left eye twitches, don't jump to conclusions. But don't rush past it either. Sit with it. Notice the space you're in, what you were thinking, what you've been avoiding, or what you're finally ready to receive. Because maybe, just maybe, it's not your eye that's reacting to the world. Maybe it's your future inching closer, and your body is simply the first to feel it. Sign 2. An itchy palm isn't always just dry skin. You're going about your day when it starts, the faintest itch in your palm, not enough to hurt, just enough to notice. You rub it against your jeans or scratch without thinking, then move on, but later it returns. That odd little sensation right in the center of your hand. No rash, no dryness, just a quiet, persistent tug. Most people don't think twice. But if you've lived long enough, loved long enough, struggled long enough, you begin to wonder, what is my body trying to tell me? In many traditions, the palm isn't just skin, it's a map. A place where energy gathers, where work is done, where life is both given and received. And when it starts to itch without explanation, many believe it's more than just a nerve or a dry patch, it's a signal. Especially if it's your left palm. You see, the left side of the body is traditionally associated with receiving, help, love, support, and yes, wealth. A sudden itch on the left palm has long been thought to mean something is coming. Not always money in a suitcase or a check in the mailbox, but something of value, a gift, a hand reaching out, an opportunity quietly making its way to you. The kind that changes your week or your year. The right palm, on the other hand, is the hand of action. It's the one you shake with, write with, reach forward with. When it itches, some believe it means you're about to give something or earn it through your own effort. It might be a moment where your work gets recognized, where something you built finally pays off, where the seeds you planted long ago are finally ready to sprout. But whether it's left or right, what matters most isn't the hand, it's the message. Because the truth is, your body knows what your mind hasn't slowed down long enough to hear. We live in a world that trains us to dismiss subtle things. If it doesn't beep, flash, hurt, or demand attention, we ignore it. But your palm doesn't yell, it stirs, it tingles, it calls you back into the moment for just a second. And in that second, if you're paying attention, something shifts. Have you ever felt your palm itch, then had a client call you out of nowhere? Or found a forgotten 20 in your coat pocket? Or finally heard back about something you gave up waiting for? Maybe it's coincidence, maybe not. But either way, those moments leave a mark, not because of the money, but because something in you whispered, "See, you knew." There's an old belief that the palm is where your life touches the world and the world touches back. It's where babies are held, hands are shaken, food is served, prayers are said. The palm is intimate, personal, it absorbs energy, and when it starts to feel different, maybe it's because something is trying to come through it, and there's something else. Sometimes an itchy palm doesn't signal gain, but readiness. Maybe you're not about to receive something. Maybe you're about to open to something, to say yes, to finally take the hand being offered, to stop gripping control so tightly and let something flow back in. There's power in that, and softness too. This sign, this simple, quiet itch, has shown up at strange moments for people everywhere. A woman once shared that her left palm itched for days before her daughter, who she hadn't spoken to in months, called her out of the blue. A man told us his right hand itched constantly the week before he was offered a job he'd given up hope on. A retired nurse said her hands tingled every time someone she cared for was about to recover, like her body knew healing was near. You don't have to believe in luck or energy to understand this. You just have to believe in your body, and in your ability to slow down and feel. Because maybe the point isn't whether your palm itches before money comes. Maybe the point is your body knows how to prepare you for change. Maybe the palm is just one of the places that truth shows up, quietly, without fuss, without logic. And here's what's beautiful about it: when your body stirs like this, it's not asking you to do anything. Not right away, it's asking you to listen, to tune in, to clear the noise, because something may be approaching and your palm is the place it's about to land. So the next time your hand itches, stop, even if just for a few seconds. Don't rush to Google. Don't brush it off like a reflex. Place your other hand over it gently. Breathe, feel, ask yourself, what am I ready to receive? What might be reaching for me too? Because sometimes the universe doesn't send signs in loud bangs or blinding lights. Sometimes it sends them in the quiet warmth of your own hand, waiting to be opened. Sign 3, when your face begins to glow for no reason at all. You glance in the mirror, maybe first thing in the morning. No makeup, no fancy lighting, just you standing there with sleep still in your eyes, but something's different. You can't quite explain it, but your skin looks softer, brighter. Your eyes catch the light just a little more than usual. There's no reason for it. You haven't changed your skincare routine. You're not freshly in love. You haven't had more sleep. And yet your face is glowing, not with sweat, not with cosmetics, but with something gentler, something deeper. If that's ever happened to you, pause and remember this. Your body knows before your life catches up. We often think glow means beauty, health, youth. But sometimes it means alignment. Something within you is shifting into place. Not everything is fixed. You still have questions. Maybe your bills aren't fully paid. Maybe your knees ache when you walk up the stairs, but your face somehow is brighter, and that brightness may not be skin deep, it might be soul deep. For centuries, people have looked at the face not just as identity, but as reflection. They noticed that when someone was about to receive good news, or when life was beginning to open up again after a long, hard chapter, their face changed first. Their expression softened. Their skin gained color. Their eyes lit up. Not from something they had, but from something that was coming. Have you ever met someone and thought, they just look lucky? It's not about money or status. It's about the way their face carries ease. Their energy is unblocked. Their eyes meet yours fully. Their smile comes easily, even when they're quiet. That glow isn't something you buy. It's something that arrives when your spirit starts to unclench. And here's what matters most. Your face is the only part of you the world sees first. But it's the last place we look when we think about change. We track bank accounts, calendars, weight, even mood. But we forget that the face keeps score of energy. It listens to your sleep, your peace, your forgiveness. It reacts when you've let go of something heavy, when you've made peace with something painful, when you're ready, truly ready for something new. That's why this sign matters. A glowing face for no reason at all is often a sign that life is shifting under the surface, that you've begun to soften your resistance, that your inner world has started to match the future you've been asking for. It might not be visible to everyone, but to those who know you, it's unmistakable. They might ask if you've done something new, if you're seeing someone, if you've been sleeping better. but really they're sensing that something inside you has changed. Because glow is not a surface trait, it's an echo, a symptom, a quiet result of invisible alignment. One woman said she saw it in herself the morning after she finally forgave someone she hadn't spoken to in years. She looked in the mirror and felt startled by her own reflection, not because it was perfect, but because it felt alive again. Another shared that she hadn't worn makeup in weeks, but her friends kept telling her she looked rested. The truth, she'd made a hard decision about her future, and deep down her body was already celebrating. When your face glows for no reason, don't rush past it. Don't chalk it up to lighting or mood. Let it be what it is, a sign that something in you has begun to move, that you're starting to walk in rhythm with the life you want. That the tension between where you are and where you're going is starting to ease, and your body is responding first. And there's science behind this too. When stress eases, blood flow improves. When you sleep better, because your mind is quieter, your skin reflects it. When your nervous system feels safe, it releases the tightness in your expression. These are not magic tricks. They're biological signals of emotional truth. But science aside, there's something deeper here. Glow in the truest sense is about permission. Your body doesn't glow when it's in fear. It glows when you've said yes. Yes to healing. Yes to peace. Yes to possibility. It's the body's way of showing, I am no longer closed, I am ready. And when that happens, when your face begins to glow before anything around you has changed, pay attention. Because it means your spirit is ahead of your circumstances. It means the new chapter has already begun, even if the outer world hasn't caught up. So the next time you see that glow, subtle, quiet, but real, don't ask, what caused this? Ask instead, what's opening in me? Because glow doesn't always come after change. Sometimes it precedes it. Sign 4. A radiant forehead often means you're about to be guided. There's a part of your body that catches the light before any other. It's the space just above your eyes, the smooth stretch between your brows and your hairline, your forehead. You rarely notice it unless you're checking for wrinkles or brushing hair away from your face. But sometimes, without makeup, without effort, it seems to shine. There's no oil, no sweat, just a gentle clarity, a glow you didn't expect, a softness that feels almost lifted. That glow matters more than you think. In ancient traditions, the forehead was considered sacred, not just skin, but signal. It was called the heaven's court, the place where clarity enters, the space between thought and intuition, where you don't just know things, you sense them. When your forehead radiates light, it's often not because of what you've done, but because of where you're headed. It's a sign that something is aligning above you, around you. Within you, a gentle nudge from the universe that guidance is near. Think about it. The forehead is where we frown when confused, where we wrinkle when worried. It's the surface that tightens when we're trying too hard to control. But when it softens, when it glows, it means the tension is releasing. And when that happens, something sacred begins to move. Space opens for clarity, for insight, for support. It means you're no longer fighting your path, you're listening to it. People often say, I don't know what to do. But the truth is, many times we already do. We just don't feel safe enough to trust it. A radiant forehead doesn't mean you figured it all out. It means you've stopped resisting what you already know. That's when guidance steps in, not always as a voice or a sign, but sometimes as a person you meet unexpectedly. A book that finds you, a thought that won't leave you alone. A moment of stillness where everything feels suddenly clear, even if it still feels risky. That's how guidance arrives, not always loud, not always dramatic, often quiet, soft, like light hitting your skin on a cloudy morning. And sometimes the glow appears before you even realize you're ready. It shows up while you're still doubting, still overthinking, still asking for proof. Because your body knows what your mind hasn't caught up to yet. That's the beauty of the forehead. It reflects truth before words can form it. I once heard a story about a woman who'd been stuck in indecision for months. Her job wasn't fulfilling, but leaving felt terrifying. One morning while brushing her teeth, she noticed her forehead looked different, smoother, brighter. She said it looked clear. That same week, someone from her past reached out with an opportunity, one she would have overlooked before, but this time something in her trusted it. She said yes. Not because she was fearless, but because her doubt had softened just enough to let clarity in. Another man shared that his forehead seemed to glow on the morning he decided to stop running from grief. Not because the pain was gone, but because something in him had stopped fighting. That light, he said, wasn't about beauty, it was about peace. A peace he hadn't known in years. These stories matter because they remind us your forehead isn't just for thinking, it's for sensing, for receiving, for reflecting what you're beginning to accept, even if quietly. When your forehead radiates for no reason, it's not random, it's readiness. It's the body's way of saying something is trying to reach you. Maybe you're about to meet someone who sees you fully. Maybe you're being invited into a space where your voice matters. Maybe the direction you've been afraid to take is finally lighting up because you've stopped dimming it down. Don't ignore that light. Don't rush to explain it away. Sit with it. Let it be a gentle reminder that you don't have to force everything. That sometimes when your mind rests, your path reveals itself. When your thoughts slow down, guidance finds space to enter. So the next time your forehead shines, not from oil or stress, but from something quieter, look at where you are, what you've been thinking, what you've been avoiding, and ask yourself, what am I finally ready to see? Because a radiant forehead rarely appears when you have all the answers. It appears when you've stopped pretending you need to, when you've opened enough to be shown the next step. And that is when life begins to guide you. Sign 5. A long hair growing from a mole, don't pluck it. It starts off as something so small you barely notice it. Just a fine, almost invisible hair growing out of a mole. You feel it one day in the mirror or running your fingers over your arm or neck, and without thinking, your first instinct is to remove it. It looks odd, unpolished, out of place, so you reach for the tweezers, ready to pluck it clean. But pause just for a moment and ask yourself, what if that tiny hair means something more than what it looks like? In modern life, we're conditioned to remove what doesn't fit the image. A long hair here, a mole there, anything that seems out of the ordinary must be fixed. But ancient wisdom teaches something entirely different. In traditions that long predate filters and flawless skin routines, a mole with a single long hair wasn't seen as a flaw. It was seen as a gift, a mark of something quietly powerful. Especially when that hair grows long and fine and you don't know why it's still there. They called it a blessing thread. A sign that your body is holding onto something sacred, not a beauty flaw, a signal, a quiet antenna pulling in subtle energies you may not even be aware of. In some cultures, people believed that a long hair growing from a mole, especially on the wrist, neck, back, or chest, meant that the person was entering a phase of expansion, prosperity, even spiritual protection, not because of magic, but because the body in all its wisdom sometimes expresses change before the outer world can catch up. And it's not just about superstition, it's about how energy shows up in physical form. Have you ever noticed how your skin changes in times of stress? Or how your eyes glow when you're excited about something new? The body is always responding, always reflecting. So when a hair grows, long and unexpectedly in a place where you didn't expect it, it may be time to ask why now. Sometimes these moles appear during seasons of growth when you're finally becoming who you were meant to be. When you've let go of people who drained you, when your focus is clear, when you've stopped dimming your own voice, and right there without your effort, something grows, quiet, steady, persistent, like a whisper from your body that says you're stepping into alignment. And yet we pluck. We pluck because we're used to removing what stands out. We remove what makes us pause. We undo signs before we've listened to what they might be saying. But here's something to think about. What if the very thing that makes you pause, that single thread, was your body's way of anchoring your blessings? What if it's not just hair? What if it's a reminder that you're connected to something bigger and that energy needs a place to land? There's a story of a woman in her 60s who found a single hair growing from a mole on her left wrist. At first, she removed it every time. Then one day, she let it be. That same month, she was offered a consultancy role she hadn't asked for, through a conversation she hadn't planned. She smiled as she told the story. I didn't do anything differently, but something told me, stop removing that hair. Coincidence? Maybe, but there's something powerful in the way she trusted the pause. Another man shared how he found a hair growing from a small mole on his shoulder, right around the time he decided to retire early and pursue a creative passion. He said the hair felt like a sign, like his body was confirming what his heart already knew. He didn't remove it, he honored it, and the freedom he felt was the beginning of a whole new chapter. These stories aren't about the hair itself, they're about attention, reverence, a willingness to believe that not everything must be edited, plucked, trimmed, or hidden. Some things are meant to stay because they are markers, anchors, invitations to slow down and listen. So the next time you find a long, fine hair growing from a mole, don't rush, don't judge, don't remove it just because it feels unusual. Instead, ask yourself, what might this be tied to? What's trying to grow through me right now? What energy am I finally ready to receive? Because maybe, just maybe, that hair is holding more than you realize. And maybe, just maybe, it's not a flaw. It's a thread, one you didn't ask for but were chosen to carry. Sign 6. A sudden warmth in your lower belly, energy might be shifting. It usually starts when nothing around you feels different. You're not doing anything out of the ordinary. Maybe you're folding laundry. Maybe you're standing in the kitchen waiting for water to boil. Then suddenly, there it is. A gentle warmth blooming low in your belly. Not a cramp, not pain, just warmth. As if a quiet ember had lit itself deep inside you. And for a moment, you stop. You wonder, what is that? You wait for it to go away. Maybe you think it's digestion. Maybe your body reacting to a late lunch. But something about it feels different, centered, meaningful, familiar, and new all at once. This isn't something people often talk about, but those who have felt it know. The lower belly, just beneath the navel, isn't just where we digest food. It's where we digest life. In many ancient traditions, that space was called the center of power, the seat of intuition, the root of courage. And when it stirs, especially with warmth, it's often because something inside you is waking up. It doesn't always come with clarity. Sometimes it arrives long before your mind can catch up, before the decision is made, before the move is planned, before the change is spoken out loud. That warmth, it might be your body preparing before you do, lining up the energy before the action, whispering, we're almost ready. Because that part of you, the core, is deeply intelligent. It's where you held your first breath, where you felt your deepest heartbreaks, where your nervous system retreats when it needs safety. So when it starts to hum gently and unexpectedly, it often means something is shifting in your energy field. Not on the surface, but far below, where real change begins. Think back. Have you ever felt that warmth during moments of quiet surrender? When you let go of a plan that wasn't working? When you decided quietly that you were done chasing what wasn't meant for you? That warmth is often the exhale, the body's yes. The signal that something in your internal world has just aligned. Sometimes it arrives right before something good. A call, an offer, a new beginning, not always dramatic, but real. And you remember the warmth, not because of how long it lasted, but because of how true it felt. One woman said she felt it the night before her daughter came home unexpectedly after years of silence. Another shared that the warmth came during a meditation, just hours before she was asked to step into a role she'd secretly dreamed of, but never dared to claim. Neither of them had a plan, but their bodies knew, and the shift was already in motion. This sign isn't about waiting for miracles. It's about noticing when the body says, we're moving. Even when your calendar doesn't reflect it yet, even when your circumstances haven't caught up. It's a reminder that transformation doesn't always start in the mind. Sometimes it starts in the belly, in silence, in stillness, in heat. The warmth is subtle, yes, but it's not weak, it's quiet power, and it asks you to slow down, not to overanalyze, but to acknowledge that something might be ending or beginning. That energy is real, even when invisible. That intuition has a language, and sometimes that language is temperature. So what do you do when it happens? You breathe, you don't rush. You place your hand gently over the space. You listen, you ask, what am I shifting toward? What am I releasing? What part of me is getting ready to move forward, braver, clearer, lighter? You may not get answers right away, and that's okay. Because sometimes the body knows first, long before the mind can make sense of it. And what's beautiful, truly beautiful, is that this sign doesn't arrive with chaos. It arrives with calm. You won't need anyone to validate it, because you'll feel it in the stillness, Not loud, not urgent, just warm, like an internal sunrise. So if you felt that sudden heat lately, even for a moment, don't dismiss it. Don't reach for explanation too quickly. Maybe nothing's wrong. Maybe nothing needs fixing. Maybe, just maybe, everything is beginning to align. And your body, in its infinite wisdom, is simply the first to feel it. Sign 7. Warm, reddish ears can hear more than words. You're in the middle of something mundane, watering plants, folding towels, listening to the radio, and suddenly one of your ears feels warm. Not hot, not painful, just warm. A blush-like heat that lingers for a few seconds. You touch it. It's soft, maybe even a little red. You look in the mirror, wondering if it's flushed. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's the room temperature. But something in you lingers on that sensation, like your body just picked up on something your mind hasn't heard yet. Because ears, though we treat them like passive organs, are actually quiet receivers of emotion, memory, and energy. They don't just hear, they sense, they reflect, they react. And when one or both suddenly turn warm or red for no physical reason, it might mean more than you think. In older traditions, people often said, "Someone's talking about you." And while that phrase has become more of a joke than a belief, the truth behind it remains. Ears respond when energy moves around your name, your presence, your path. When something or someone is energetically leaning in. And sometimes when a guide or opportunity is drawing near, the body registers it long before a word is spoken. Warmth in the ears, especially with no external cause, can be a sign that you're about to hear something important, not necessarily from another person. It could be from within, an insight, a shift in awareness, a realization that's been waiting patiently for you to slow down long enough to hear it. That's why this sign is so tender. It doesn't yell, it whispers. Think about it, ears are tied to how we receive information, not just noise, but tone, feeling, timing. They detect sincerity. They pick up on silence. They know the difference between what's said and what's meant. And when they grow warm, it may be because something is trying to come through to you. A message, a connection, a moment of clarity. Have you ever felt your ears flush just before someone spoke a hard truth you needed to hear? Or moments before you got a phone call you weren't expecting? Or during a conversation where somehow you knew you'd remember every word? That's not coincidence. That's resonance. That's your body picking up on vibrational shifts in real time. It's especially true if both ears feel warm and slightly red. That's often seen as a sign that you're energetically in the room even before the event happens, like a spiritual preparation, an internal notification that says, "Pay attention, this moment matters." And let's talk about earlobes. When your lobes feel full, soft, and slightly rosy, some traditions believe it's a sign of long-term fortune, not just in money, but in wisdom, a peaceful heart, a life that receives. In many cultures, full earlobes are associated with generosity, patience, and ancestral blessing. When they warm, it may mean those blessings are stirring, like a prayer that's about to be answered. Not loud, not public, just steady, on its way. One woman shared that her ears warmed unexpectedly while she was sitting in silence, alone, thinking about a decision she hadn't yet voiced. The next morning, someone close to her offered help without her asking. She said it felt like the offer had already been whispered the night before, and her body had heard it first. Another man, grieving the loss of a friend, felt a strange heat in his ears while listening to a song that reminded him of better days. He said he felt, just for a moment, that he was being comforted, that someone was there even in the silence. It wasn't dramatic, it was gentle, and it changed everything. Because sometimes the ears don't just listen to what's outside, they open to what's inside. Your own wisdom, your own knowing, the voice you buried under busyness. And when they grow warm, it might be because that voice is about to rise again, to guide you. So the next time your ears feel flushed and there's no clear cause, don't rush past it. Don't dismiss it. Sit quietly. Ask yourself, what am I about to hear? What insight is arriving? Who might be reaching out energetically before they say a word? Because maybe that warmth is your signal to stop talking and start listening. Not to everyone else, but to the deeper layers of what's already around you. The words unsaid, the nudges unspoken, The truth just beneath the noise, and maybe, just maybe, your ears don't just help you hear what's said, they help you feel what's about to be revealed. Sign 8. Warm feet and rosy heels mean your path is steady. You probably don't think about your feet unless they hurt. We notice them when they ache, when shoes pinch, when standing too long leaves us sore. But when was the last time you paid attention to them simply being warm, not sweaty, not overheated, just comfortably warm, grounded, alive? And if your heels, often dry, overlooked, hidden, begin to feel soft, rosy, even a little pink, pause. That might be more than circulation. It might be confirmation you're walking on solid ground again. In many ancient systems of thought, the feet are seen as the foundation of destiny. If the eyes reveal your soul and your hands shape your reality, then your feet tell the story of where you're going and whether you're walking with resistance or ease. Cold feet, we know, are a metaphor for fear, hesitation, doubt. But warm feet, rosy heels, those are signs of energetic alignment. Signs that you're not just moving, you're moving in rhythm with what's meant for you. This doesn't mean every step is perfect. It doesn't mean your path is easy. But it means the path beneath you is stable, that you're no longer fighting the ground you stand on, that you've begun to walk with more trust than fear. And your body knows it. Feet are deeply intuitive. They connect us to the earth, to balance, to movement. They carry us through every season of life, birth, grief, joy, change. And when something finally begins to settle, the feet speak first. Not with words, with warmth. You might feel it first thing in the morning when you step onto the floor and realize the cold isn't biting anymore, or late at night when you tuck into bed and feel the quiet pulse of heat at your soles. That comfort, it's more than just physical, it's energetic, and it often means your inner world has stopped shaking. The storm has passed, or at least you've found your footing within it. Rosy heels, in particular, are seen in some traditions as signs of accumulated grace. They reflect strength that's been earned, not given. A foundation built over time, not overnight. People with warm, healthy feet often experience deeper stability, not just in finances or career, but in relationships, home, purpose. They don't chase, they attract, not because they do less, but because they walk from a place of knowing. And here's something tender. The warmth in your feet often rises after periods of doubt, after years of doing too much, giving too much, running on empty. When you finally slow down, simplify, come home to yourself, your energy drops into your feet, into the ground, into real life. That's when life becomes quieter but richer. One woman shared that after years of running from one obligation to the next, she made the decision to step away from what drained her. Not everything was clear, not everything was easy. But weeks later, she noticed her feet were warm all day long, something she hadn't felt in years. It was like my body had finally exhaled, she said. Like I'd stopped floating and finally landed. Another man spoke of working toward retirement for decades. When the day finally came, not with fanfare, but with calm, he said the first thing he noticed was how grounded he felt. My heels were warm, he laughed, and I didn't even have socks on. It was like my body knew we're done running. These stories matter because they remind us that warmth in the feet doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing what's aligned, from walking with integrity, from standing in decisions that reflect who you are now, not who you were then. And when that alignment takes root, the body speaks. The heels soften. The steps become quieter. And the future feels a little less like a mystery and a little more like a home you're already heading toward. So if your feet feel warm lately, if your heels glow a little even when no one else sees it, smile. You may not be at the finish line, but you're no longer lost. You're walking steady, sure, softly forward. And your body with every step is telling you you're exactly where you're meant to be. Sometimes the signs you're waiting for aren't on the outside. They're already inside you. A twitch in your eye, an itch in your palm, a warmth in your belly, a quiet glow on your face. These aren't coincidences. They're not accidents. They're the body's way of speaking when words aren't enough. A language so soft most people miss it. But not you, not anymore. Because if you've come this far, if you've listened all the way through, something in you already knows that wealth, in all its forms, begins with awareness, with presence. with trusting the quiet shifts that happen long before the world catches on. The truth is, your body is your oldest guide. Long before you had words, it was your compass. It warned you, it comforted you, it lit up when love was near and tensed when something was off. And now, as you move into a new season of life, one of more clarity, more ease, more enoughness, your body still speaks first, not to impress, not to prove, but to prepare you. That's what these signs are: preparation, confirmation, little flickers of alignment that say, keep going, you're on the right path. No, not every twitch means money. Not every warm heel guarantees a miracle, but these things remind you that you are deeply connected to yourself, to the world around you, to a rhythm that goes beyond logic. And when you honor that connection, when you live close to it, life flows differently, not faster, but fuller. So to you watching this, feeling these words not just in your mind, but somewhere deeper, thank you. Thank you for listening, for staying, for choosing to slow down and pay attention to the quiet ways your body says yes to what's next. And whatever that next chapter looks like for you, I hope it feels grounded, soft, bright. I hope you walk with warmth in your steps and peace in your chest. I hope you glow not for show, but because something inside you is finally aligned. You deserve that kind of wealth. And your body, it already knows it's coming.